Are you ready? What happened to... Okay. Is Sarah translating into Korean? Oh, Sangho is hiding. I can't see her head. Okay. Hello, everyone. The first time I talked to my late Chinese master, Master HsuanHua, the purpose was to ask him to leave the home life. And the first thing that he told me, he taught me, was my Dharma door. No hello, how are you? Nice to see you. No. He immediately taught me what I was supposed to be doing. Didn't get it back then. But it's interesting because he taught me so many things that one span of 30 seconds, he taught me so many things. First of all, my Dharma door, which I wasn't aware back then was supposed to be my Dharma door, but 10 years later, 11 years later, I figured it out, and that's what he meant. But he also said taught me something kind of interesting. Didn't waste time. Didn't waste his time. Didn't waste my time. Okay, he got straight to the point. And so that's what I have always operated under the same assumptions. I don't waste your time. I don't waste my time. So please forgive me for being so Chinese. It was very, very Chinese. Don't waste time. Okay? Yeah. But the one thing over the years I realized that I didn't have the blessings to be able to take advantage of his Master HsuanHua's organization. Never were taught by the Chinese you're supposed to plant blessings. Never planted blessings with them, therefore couldn't take advantage of whatever they have to offer. So it's kind of interesting that I learned after that. I learned from his disciples. There are 4 Caucasian monks. 2 of them were lower level than I was, and the 2 of them much higher level. And Heng Lai is one of them. So these people are so blessed. They're able to practice under Master HsuanHua's tutelage for 20 years or more. These are incredible individuals. So I've always been curious as to what they learned, what he taught them, and what they picked up from his teachings. But I never had the chance to ask them, because whenever I asked them, they deemed I was too stupid and not worthy to be taught. And I would never make them forget that the rest of their lives. And make it a point. But I'm curious as to what they learn and how they train their disciples. So it's a pleasure to be able to continue to look into, just like you. It is my first time listening to Master Heng Lai's Chan instructions. And so let's not waste time and go ahead and get into it. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask me. My Guiyang training from Master HsuanHua is quite different from theirs, apparently. So I'm always eager to learn from, get their perspectives on what they gain from his training. The way I train you is quite different from the way he trained them. Okay. But it's always good to learn more about their style, the Guiyang training. Okay. Ours is a little bit more hardcore than theirs. Because I'm don't want to waste time. All right. Let's continue then. Please, let's play the tape. See how far we can go.
All right, our second day of our little 2.5 day session. And you need translator?
Stop. Okay. First difference. Sit straight. Okay. Do not sit on a sofa like this because you have no back support. Okay. If you sit on the sofa, then lean back. Okay. Or prop your rear end so that you can sit straight, because the sofa is very difficult for you to sit balanced. I noticed in Los Angeles, 3 of you are not sitting properly. You are sitting, you should be all sitting like a bell, meaning I notice some of you are slouching like this. Okay? When you do that, your chi is not flowing properly. Your chi, when you meditate, the chi will traverse from your navel straight up. So when you go like this, you're obstructing your chi flow. So make sure that you keep your back straight. Okay, don't slouch. Okay, that's what the Chinese meant by sitting like a bell. You sit straight in full lotus with your legs crossed, and then you have the shape of a bell. A bell doesn't lean forward, doesn't lean back. Okay, so that's what you ought to be doing. Fight it. You're sleepy, fight your sleepiness and keep it straight. Don't move. He moves too much. Too nervous. Continue.
So today, everybody accomplished some Samadhi, right? No?
来法师问：今天是不是大家都取得了一点儿镇定、禅定？
禅风啊！
Who says, old Mr. Pang from back in China said that cultivation of Chan is very hard. It's like putting 10 baskets of sesame seeds on leaves of a tree and trying to keep them from falling off.
禅修是非常难的，就像那个 居士庞居士说的难难难，10瓣芝麻树上摊。
And his wife, Mrs. Pang, said, "No, it's not difficult at all. It's just every tip of the branch has the Buddha's mind. It all comes from the West, and it's just not an issue. Chan meditation and cultivation is very easy."
然后那个庞婆呢，就是庞居士的太太，就说：“不，非常易，百草头上主思义。”
And their daughter said, "Oh, it's neither easy nor is it hard. When you're tired, you go to sleep, and when you need to get up, you wake up."
然后他们的那个女儿呢，就说：“也不难，也不易，饿了就去吃饭，困了就去睡觉。”
So that was the Pang family. They were real characters. They were all enlightened. All three of them. Father, the mother, and the daughter.
他们都是开了悟的，而且是非常的他们非常有个性。父亲、母亲和那个女儿都是开了悟的。
So the father, the old Mr. Pang, he says, "I'm going to go off to rebirth now. I'm too old. And it's time for me to enter the stillness. So at noon today, I'm going to sit on the lotus on my meditation cushion, and I'm going to enter the stillness."
那个庞老头就说：“哎呀，我现在很老了，我决定今天中午就圆寂，然后呢，把他的那个垫子搁好，准备好。”
So their daughter says, "Oh, no, you don't. I'm going to enter the stillness first." And she ran up on his cushion, sat in the lotus, and entered stillness.
然后他的女儿就说：“哦，不，我先来，冲进那个房间，坐上他准备好的垫子，立刻烟化。”
So Mr. Pang goes, "Oh, this daughter of ours, she never follows the rules. She does whatever she wants."
然后庞居士就说：“他说
He's referring to Laymen Pang. He's a very famous Chinese character in the Chan folklore. The Chinese are very impressed by Laymen Pang, and more impressed with his son, who died already. Not as impressed by the rest of the three that he's mentioned. But I really have a hard time listening to the Chinese translation. I don't think the Chinese translation is that good anyway. And the few characters I could hear, it's not what the original story was. Okay, when you do these translations, please make sure that you get the original text in Chinese as accurately as possible, because when you try to relate the Chan stories, the Chinese language is very, very concise, and it's very easy to misinterpret and misunderstand the purport, and that's why the translation of these Chan stories, I find into English, I find them to be very inadequate, very lacking, even from the scholars. They are inaccurate, and they don't convey the whole story. Okay, unfortunately, so that's why it's no surprise to me that the non-Chinese speaking people, they cannot comprehend the Chinese Chan. The Chinese Chan is very, very precise. It's very, very advanced. And to the point where even if you understand the Chinese language, unless you understand chant, you really cannot understand even the Chinese stories, the Chinese chant stories. Okay, so let alone these people who don't even speak Chinese, don't even bother to learn Chinese. My point to you is not criticism. My point to you is that if you really want to excel at chant, okay, you have to learn Chinese right now. Okay? Has a question? Go ahead. YouTube question. I love those graphics. Too cute. God, it's very un-Chan-like. Chan is boring. Uncolorful. But anyway, yeah. Go ahead. What is that? Now it's a panda bear or what? Xiao Tai, what does it look like to you? Huh? It's too much. Look at that. Now it's... Go ahead. Do we have a problem? Sorry, some technical difficulties. Okay, apparently we can't not get to the YouTube question. Maybe you figure it out. Okay, or write it, or send it in writing or something. Okay, always have a plan B just in case. Okay, so there's a story about this Laymen Pang, who's the Chinese are very enamored with. I used to be impressed by that person because of the Chinese influence. But this Laymen Pang here is a very rich merchant, and he decided to give away all his wealth to practice chant, okay, which is the first thing that Chinese chant teaches us. You let go of what's dear to you, okay. Meaning that for this Laymen Pang here, it's money. Okay, so he gave away his money. A stupid way, you ask me. He put all his money on a boat, went out to a big lake, and dumped it in the lake. I said, he could have given it to us, Jesus. It's so radical. You can give it away, but there's a better way to do it. He says, I want to give it away to the Dragon King. And which clearly back then, Mr. Pang was an idiot. What makes you think that the Dragon King wants it? It's right there. Right there shows me that this guy's premise is wrong. No one teaches him properly. To me, it's a waste of money. Okay. Anyway, and then he started practicing, and to his credit, he became enlightened on his own, which is not actually on his own. He went to see Ma Zu, we went to see Xu Tou, two famous Shan teachers back then. Real famous. Ma Zu is like a superstar, This is probably the same level as Jesus. Nowadays, he's a real superstar. And Xu Tou is his equal, just as famous. But I feel Ma Zu probably slightly better than Xu Tou. Anyway, So he went and he went first to Shuto, and Shuto taught him. And he went around to ask the Chan masters in around China. Wasn't impressed by any of them until he went to meet with Shuto. And Shuto asked, "Do you know anyone who's unattached to the 10,000 things?" Something like that. I forgot what the Chinese words were. And Shuto take his hands and put his hand on Laymen Pang's mouth. Okay, and Laymen Pang was so impressed by that, he stayed on and worked around Venerable Shuto's temple for a few months. Okay, a few months later, he came to Shuto and said, "I'm leaving." And Shuto said, "So soon?" He said, "Yeah, I'm leaving." So Shuto, "Okay, goodbye." So he went over, after Shuto, he went over to Mazu, asked the same question. "You know anyone who's not attached to the 10,000 things?" Okay, and Mazu says, I will answer you. If you can eat, if you can drink, the Ganges River in one gulp. For that, Mr. Pang was so impressed. "Oh wow, this guy is even so cool." So he stayed on to Mazu, and I learned from Mazu for a while, and then he left as well. Again, after that, he practiced on his own and became enlightened on his own. So apparently he picked up a few good things from Shuto and from Mazu as well. So and after that, Laymen Pang would go around and challenge the monks and lay people, challenge their Chan understandings. He terrorized the Chinese monks. Every time he would go visit the temple, "May I ask you a question?" And the monks said, "No, I'm very busy today. Can you make an appointment?" So anyway, so that's what Master Heng Lai is referring to. And apparently, the whole family is outstanding, a bunch of outstanding individuals. His wife is a higher level than he was. And then the daughter is even better than the parents. Okay, and then the son is even better than the daughter. Okay, but you hear it in the Chinese stories, not much is mentioned about the son. That's why he's better than the daughter. Okay. Anyway, so Master Heng Lai anecdote here says the daughter is something about a sitting cushion or something like that. Okay. Maybe in China you have to use cushion because you don't have the fancy rugs you're sitting on right now. Okay, so that's why they need to use sitting cushions to insulate them from the ground. Be careful about that when you meditate. Make sure you have some insulation between you and the ground. Okay, otherwise all the chi will be sucked that you gather will suck sucked by the ground. So anyway, so they're fighting over a bowing cushion, and I think what these Americans are missing the point here is the teaching from the Chinese Chan is that after the daughter became enlightened, okay, she could tell her father is not as good as she was. So if you folks read again the Laymen Pang stories in Chinese, you know this is a lot of tension between the daughter and the dad. Okay, it's not rivalry. Actually, it's the daughter trying to teach her father by challenging him. Okay, because this family of characters are they thrive on challenges. So that's why the daughter being very filial. Just if you have wisdom, you naturally become filial. And so the daughter, after she became enlightened, she stuck around because the agreement was that she would hang around with her dad so that she can help her dad, and the son will hang around to help the mother. Okay? Boy, girl, girl, boy, that kind of thing. So that's why, and that's another reason, by the way, that's why I feel that the wife is better than the husband, because the son helped the wife, and the daughter helped the father. And therefore it shows, it proves that the brother is better than the sister. And also, ultimately, the boy, the brother, wasn't even trying to teach his mother. The daughter is always fighting with the dad, arguing and demonstrating to him that she knows better, and she outsmarts him every single time with this bowing cushion, with this sitting cushion here. That's a typical of their relationship. The daughter keeps on proving to the dad that I'm smarter, I outsmart you, I'm faster than you, okay? I sit longer than you, my words are, my tongue is sharper than you, all those things. And Mr. Pang grudgingly acknowledges that, okay? Whereas the son never fought his mother, okay? That's a superior Dharma, okay? And when you teach Chan, you don't need to have the tension, okay? And of course, clearly, the woman, the Chinese woman is better than Chinese man for some reason in that particular story, okay? So anyway, the daughter in this particular sitting cushion here is trying to teach the dad. Okay, so these non-Chinese people don't get it, and the Chinese. The point I'm trying to make again is that the daughter is extremely filial. That's a manifestation of wisdom right there. If you practice meditation and you improve, okay, you naturally become more and more filial. You naturally become kinder and kinder to your wife. You don't fight with her, okay? Become kinder. And so the daughter here is filial in a reverse way because she's fighting her dad to challenge him, okay, to help him improve. All right, continue, please. Yes, YouTube is back online.
Well, no, they sent us the question here.
Okay, what is the question?
YouTube question from Emily Tam.
Yes, from Illinois.
Would it be acceptable to slouch while sit-sleeping? Was also wondering what the effects or results of sit-sleeping with or without crossing legs. I have been sit-sleeping for about a week already, but most times I can't or would undo my crossed legs during sleep.
Sleeping, you don't need to cross your legs. One of the Caucasian monk that I know from a disciple of Master HsuanHua is Heng Lai. Same Shun as our Xian Shun, but different results. He sleeps for his entire life as a monk. He tells me that he teaches me to sit in a corner and stretch his legs or hold his legs like this. Okay, to maintain his balance. Okay, so that's what he does, and that works. It helps because it's sit sleeping advantage is that it really reduces your sexual desire, if that's important to you. Okay, so you don't necessarily have to sit in full lotus. However, this is typical of my late Chinese master. He doesn't push his disciples enough. If I were Heng Shun, I would have tried to train myself to sit in full lotus, okay, which I did. It took me about 2 years. For Emily, it took her, she started for a week, so she still have time. I struggled 2 years. I would start sleeping in full lotus, and as soon as it feels good sleeping, I naturally unbuckle. I say, I'm going to enjoy my sleep now. Especially not for you, for left-home people like us, we only have 2 more joys left. You know what they are? One is sleeping, as you notice, okay, and the other is eating. That's it. We only have 2 things left in life that matter to us, okay? So that's why, as you can imagine, at lunch, we all pig out, okay? Because we are supposed to eat on 1 meal a day. So we pig out, we eat like 2-3 meals at lunch, okay? And the other thing is at night. Then we want to sleep, because that's part. Sleeping is pleasurable, if you will, innocent pleasure. Okay, so naturally, I was severely depressed back then as well. So during the day it's hard enough being around these Chinese people. No offense, but so at night it's important for me to recover and prepare for another hard day, the following day. So I would unbuckle. So I struggled with that for 2 years. So the short answer to Emily is, by all means, try to go for it. This is the Chan training, the nature of Chan training. The nature of our Chan training is struggle. If you struggle, then that's Wei Yang Chan training. If you don't struggle, then I don't know what to call it without offending people. Okay? So the training is about struggling and hanging in there and not quitting. Because when you struggle and you unbuckle, that's quitting. You see that? So I quit for 2 years. At night, love to quit. So keep on fighting, and eventually you get a hang of it. Don't worry, there's no time limit. As long as you try hard, you struggle, you keep at it, that is very good for you. You won't regret it. Okay? All right. Okay, let's continue with the video.
他女儿是从来不遵循任何的规矩，谁也撂不到他。
So that was an incredible lay family that lived in China years ago, and they used to travel all over the place and teach and transform beings.
那是那个中国的一个居士家庭，他们非常有名，而且他们到处去弘扬佛法。
Shifu used to allow us to have tea in the afternoon during the long chants. We had a disciple, her name was Fanggu, and she stayed at the Golan Monastery and helped out for many years. Her family, her husband and her both were very wealthy, but she still stayed around and helped. And she would serve honey lemon tea during the chant in the afternoons for us. She'd bring it in and put it on a tray and give it to everybody in the chant hall.
就是说，当时他们在那个金山寺的时候，师父允许他们每天下午喝一点茶。有个居士叫方果悟，他们家里很有钱，但是他呢还是很喜欢到庙上去做工，然后他每天下午就给他们做这个茶和那个柠檬，还有那个蜂蜜混在一起的这种茶，蜂蜜茶，柠檬蜂蜜茶应该叫。
And she was very faithful, and they had a lot of holdings in South Vietnam during the war, before the war and during the war. They had a lot of money there invested. And Shifu, he was in the early 70s, Shifu says, you better get your money out of there because the Vietnam's not going to last much longer. And you're going to lose all your money. And so she believed Shifu, but her husband was a Christian, and he did not want to have anything to do with Shifu and all of her Buddhist views. But she tried to convince her husband to remove their money from Vietnam, but she couldn't prevail upon him to do so. So they lost a big chunk of change when that place fell.
方果悟呢，他非常虔诚，他们家呢很有钱，在越南的话，他们有很大的产业在越南。那个时候在70年代的时候，师父就告诉他们，就说那个越南呢即将发生内战，就说你最好是还是把你们家的财产啊、钱啊这些转移出来。方果悟呢，他是非常相信师父的。但是呢，她丈夫不相信，因为她丈夫呢，方果悟是一个虔诚的佛教徒，但她丈夫是一个虔诚的天主教徒，所以他们就磨磨唧唧就没做这个事情。结果最后他们就当越南发生这个内战的时候，他们家损失了很大一部分钱在越南。
Anyway, years later, her husband died, so she invited Shifu to the funeral. And it was a Christian funeral because he was a Christian. But she invited him anyway, so Shifu had us come with him. There was maybe a dozen of us. And to this funeral from Buddha's husband. And so we're sitting there, and the way they do Christian burials, they have a viewing, and they have a casket, and everybody sits, and they have somebody gets up and talks, and that's how it goes on. Panggu was trying her best to hold up under all this, but she's still kind of crying. So Shifu just very gently told her, you don't want to cry, because then all the ghosts will come. And then they just love it when you're crying. They love the yin energy. He says, you want to be strong now and help your husband. You just recite Yitang's name and Amitabha's name for him.
1年多以后，方果悟的那个丈夫都去世了。去世以后呢，方果悟就请了师父去参加他的葬礼。但是呢，那是一个天主教的葬礼，他们完全的按照天主教的那一套仪式，反正又搞又弄哈，我也听不清楚那些是些什么东西，天主教的那些名词啊。然后呢，虽然方果师父带着了大概10几个弟子一起参加他们的这个葬礼，然后呢，方果悟虽然很坚强，但是这个时候他是忍不住哭了。这个时候师父就 跟他说，就说你不要哭，因为你一哭的话，就是这种阴性的东西就会跑来，鬼啊这些就会聚到这里来，这样的话就不是帮助你的丈夫。如果你想帮助他呢，你最好诵这个阿弥陀佛的符号，还有谁的符号？地藏菩萨的符号和阿弥陀佛的符号，这样才是真正的帮助他。你这个时候要坚强，最好就是说挺起帮助他，千万不要哭，一哭就招来这些阴性的东西，招来鬼。
So anyway, that's a story about YongHua.
这是一个关于那个方果物的故事。
We had, when we started doing Chan sessions in Gold Mountain, Shifu told us, he says it's very beneficial if you want to practice the ascetic practice of sitting up all night. It's not required. People don't have to do it. But he says if you want to try it, everybody who wants to try it can try it. So there was, at that time, I was still a layman. And there was a former Heng Lai, there was about 4 or 5 months of Hengju, and a few others started trying to stay up, sitting up all night. Now we had chan benches like this one, only they were covered with foam all the way. It was one piece of foam. And then on top of the foam they had a naga hide. You know what a naga hide is? How do I explain the naga hide? It's not plastic leather. It's like plastic leather, yeah. It's a plastic stuff you can put over the top. It's like a seat cushion has if you were out on a boat or something. I don't know how to explain naga hide. That's naga hide. Okay, yeah, that's naga hide.
Yeah. 那个说他们那个时候在金山寺那个地方打坐的时候，还不叫金山寺，那个时候叫佛教讲堂。那个地方打坐的时候，师父就说，如果你们能够晚上不睡觉，那就非常的取得很好的帮助，对你们的修行有很大的帮助。然后那个时候呢，来法师他还是一个居士，当时呢还有那个横空、横观，还有个什么横具哦 ，OK，
横游，三不一白横具，
他们都试着这样。那个时候他们那个座啊，跟这个差不多，上面呢就是那个人造格的那个东西在上面放的。
And we had made these chan benches when they first moved into Gold Mountain. And somebody got all that foam from someplace. It's high density foam, they call it. It's very stiff kind of foam. So you don't sink when you sit on it. It's firm, but it's not too firm. It's not like, this is coarse, this is really hard. But the other one was really good for chan.
然后他们后来搬到金山寺的时候呢，就把这个凳子搬过去了。搬过去了以后呢，有人就拿了那个很密的那种海绵。来法师认为那个很好，因为既不是太硬，也不是太软。这个呢就觉得太硬了一点。那个海绵那个呢，它是那个很dense的、很密的那种海绵，就是说他觉得那个软硬很正好，既不会把人沉下去呢，也不会就是太硬顶着，说那个特别好。
So, gosh, I don't know how many were in that hall. There was 20, 30, 40, 50. I can't remember how many we made. A lot of these chan benches, and put them along the wall. And in those days, we didn't face sitting when we sit in meditation. We didn't face the wall. We faced inward towards the middle of the hall.
他说那个时候大概有40-50个凳子，然后都放到那些走廊啊这些地方。当时他们禅修的时候呢，不是说对着这个墙，而是对着这个中间，大家都就像现在这种对着中间，不是反过来对着墙。
And in the early 70s, the Buddha Hall had, the wall was brick, made out of brick. And then on top of the brick, we painted, I don't know if Lafon or somebody, they painted cement. They just used cement and just painted it on the bricks to kind of smooth the brick out. So it was all gray cement brick wall. That's what the wall. It wasn't even painted white. It was just gray cement.
他那个时候在那个金山寺那个佛堂呢，他们那个墙是砖墙，但是呢，他们用那个水泥啊浇上去，把水泥当成油漆这么刷到那个墙上，觉得可以让那个墙没有那么粗糙，甚至不是这种白色的墙，那个水泥的那个颜色，反正区区的那种颜色。
So Shifu says, you people who want to try sitting up at night, go ahead and try. He says, I have only one rule. Don't lean on that brick wall like this. Don't go like that. Because, he says, the cold from the wall will go into your spine and cause you to have arthritis, basically.
当时他们那个师父就鼓励大家，就说可以晚上不要回去睡觉，就坐在那儿做。但是呢，有一个非常重要的事情告诉他们，就说你们千万不要去靠着那个墙，因为一旦靠着那个墙，那个墙的那个凉气啊，会进你的那个脊椎，然后的话最后会得关节炎。
And he also said, if you decide to don't want to sit on the Chan bench, you want to sit on the floor, be sure to put down a cushion. Don't sit directly on the cold floor either, for the same reason.
如果说你们说不想坐在禅凳上，想坐在地上，那么也是有一条非常重要的规矩，就是说一定要放上垫子，不能直接坐在那个地上。也是同样的道理，就是地上的寒气的话，也会侵入到人体得病的。
So then he told us the story when he was in Hong Kong and he sat on the rock. He says, I did a really stupid thing when I was younger. He says he sat on a rock, went into Samadhi for a very long time. I forget how long. And when he came out, it was like several days or a couple of weeks or something, a really long time. And when he came out of Samadhi, he couldn't move his legs because he'd been sitting directly on a rock. He didn't even have a cushion or anything. And even though it was in Hong Kong, it's not that cold there. Even so, the coldness from the rock still penetrated his bones, he said. And he was never able to walk properly after that.
师父说，因为他当时在香港的时候非常年轻，他说当时做了一件很蠢的事情，就是他曾经直接的坐在这个石头上，然后入定了，也不知道入定了多少天。等他出定以后吧，尽管香港还不是。
Okay, so I don't think I completely gave an answer to Emily's question. She says when you sit sleep, is it okay to slouch? You will naturally slouch or something like that at first. Okay, but eventually, when you have some skills, you'll be able to sleep with the back straight. So don't worry about it. It's again, it's about struggling. If you want to make progress, you have to struggle. If you're not struggling, then you're not working hard enough. Okay? So, again, when I tell you to sit straight like a bell, it's to tell you that you cannot relax. And if you're slouching, then you're not doing it right. You need to correct it. Okay? Eventually, when you sit long enough, naturally your back will be straight. Okay? So sit sleeping is a good thing. It turns out this video is interesting because he confirms something that I wondered for a long time, why is that he and Heng Shi and all those people got somewhere, and my generation, we got nowhere. I was there for 4 years, 4.5 years, didn't make any progress. Okay, struggle, work hard, but really didn't make any progress at all for 4.5 years. How come these people made progress under my masters? And that's because their practice was more intensive than our practice. That's the difference. Okay, they would sit overnight, sleep overnight. We didn't have to. In my generation, when I was there and these people were training us, they're too scared of us leaving and finding it too difficult that none of them could sit for 5 hours. Before I became a left home person, even when I was a lay person, I was able to sit more than 10 hours already. And so when after I shaved my head, I can sit longer than any of the monks, which is not okay. Okay, and that so he confirmed for me why these people have a better foundation than my generation, because Master HsuanHua gave it to them. One of the things is that he told them during a chanchi not to sleep at night. Okay, so this is important because I also know that, but not from them. Okay, but this confirms what I also know how to train people. So from now on, I can't force you lay people to leave your lovely wives. But if the women who can talk your husbands and boyfriends into coming here on Friday nights, you can come here and not sleep at night at all. Every fourth night, every 2 weeks. Okay, so here's the schedule. Okay, that's not beat around the bush. I'm here to help you increase your samadhi. If you not increase your samadhi, I'm wasting my time. And I hate to waste my time. Okay? You can waste your time all you want, but I will not waste my time. I need to try my best to help you. And Chan is about increasing your samadhi. That's no BS, okay? You practice Chan to increase the concentration. If you don't increase the concentration, you're doing something wrong. I did something wrong for the first 4.5 years of my career as a monk. That's unacceptable. So after I understood Chan a little bit, I decided when I started to teach Chan to not waste your time and to help you increase your samadhi if you're willing to work hard. So every couple of weeks on Friday nights, you can come and not sleep to the temple or not sleep, okay, and sit through the night. And then on Saturday morning, you sit with me because I can't sit with you. I need to sleep at night, my beauty rest. Okay, I'm much older than you, so you young, you can do it. I need my rest. So you can arrange to come to the temple because it's a much better environment for you to come to the temple. That's our job, to support you and to give you protection so that you can practice. And the practice is not to sleep on Friday nights. Okay, that's what Master HsuanHua did to these people. And these cowards never dare do it to us. I will not be a coward. I will do it to you. I will share my secret as well. So come Fridays, every 2 weeks, come and sit, sleep, or don't sleep. Keep on fighting and fighting and fighting. We give you tea, we give you green lamp, we give you oil, whatever it takes. I don't care. Okay? Don't sleep. You're too sleepy, stand up, walk around, sing, listen to mariachi. Friday nights, I realized our neighbors play mariachi and they complain we're too noisy. Can you imagine? It's incredible, these neighbors. And the marching band until almost 9 o'clock. Anyway, you fight, you don't sleep. Everyone not sleep, okay? And then Saturday morning, you sit with me for an hour, listen to the instructional talk. You can complain, you can whine, okay? Release your pressure, you see. You know, I left my husband for this. I sacrificed my Friday night for this. And this is torture. This is inhumane. Okay, you can release your pressure. And then I will try to talk to you into coming and do it again in 2 weeks. And all right, that's the way my master used to train these people, and became something. Okay, so if you're interested, you're welcome to do that. Okay, it will do wonders for you. Okay, it will change you, it will make you become better, healthier, less stressed out, sharper, more productive at work. Okay, like my Korean disciple, she doesn't like to meditate, but she followed the training, and she found that her mind is faster, sharper. She could do the work in a few hours in a day. When it used to take her the whole day, she could do all she needed to do for 3 days, for 3 hours, and then she goofs off and helps me out. Anyway, so if you're interested, you can do that. Okay, so in 2 weeks, next in 2 weeks, next Friday we start. All right. Everyone is welcome. Okay. All right. Any questions? I'm not going to ask today who's going to come, because I know you wimps will not dare do it. It's interesting because back then, my late Chinese teacher is such a great teacher and so inspirational that when he asked people to do that, these cowards would do that. I don't have the way virtue like my teacher, so I'm not going to ask you for a head count. All right, please come and you see that it'll be good for you. All right. Time is up. Any final questions before we adjourn and go eat lunch? No questions? Okay. Thank you all. We'll see you later. Okay. Bye-bye.